Hi everyone. Last year, I became a dad for the first time at 41, and it's really changed my priorities and how I view everything, from my time to my work to my health. And I'm sure becoming a dad at any age changes how you view everything, but it's just hitting a bit different. When my daughter turns 20, I will be 62. And, we've been talking about having more kids. And so when you do the math, I might be 65 plus when my second kid, or who knows, more, turns 20. And that's just making me feel like I really have a lot of things to work on. Mentally, I still feel young. I'm still a kid at heart in a lot of ways. And I don't know if that will ever change. But physically, I don't feel 25 anymore. Health to me before was more about performance, about how I could play volleyball or badminton or do a hike. But nowadays, it's man, can I carry my kid when she's 5 or 10? She's 20, a little over 20 pounds now, and I mean I can feel the wear and tear through this year. Will I have the stamina and energy to keep up with her? Say for like a trip to Disneyland, or go snowshoeing, or skiing, or skating, and that kind of scares me, to be honest, right? And life has been busy. I also run a small business managing 30 people, and I don't always have the time or energy to, cook and eat clean, or find time to go to the gym or exercise. But this feels different now, right? It doesn't feel optional, it feels mandatory. And if I'm not doing it, I don't think I have my priorities straight. I built my business in my 30s, and I spent the last decade growing it. And the question now for me is not like, how do I grow more? It's, how do I slow down, and how much should I slow down? Like, or should I stop completely at some point? And what does that look like? Is it even healthy to stop? Is it healthy to retire in 3 years? Um, Even though it's stressful at times, I know it provides a lot of mental stimulation, and it keeps my mind sharp, and it keeps me competent and growing. Um, I do believe you have to, suffer a little bit to enjoy more. You can't just, be complacent and comfortable, because you won't appreciate it as much. So I don't have a clean answer for what that looks like, and I'm trying to figure that out. Having a physical business has also tied me down. I haven't gone on as much vacations or time off as I should have, probably. And ironically, having a baby is what forced me to delegate a lot of my responsibilities out, so that I could take more time off. My wife is Japanese, and she hadn't seen her family for a couple years. And so we decided to have the baby in Japan. And I'm incredibly grateful because it was such a great experience to, be away from work for 3 months so I can completely focus on, the birth of my child. And we had 1 month before the expected due date, and 2 months after her birth. And I was able to focus completely on taking care of her, and doing night shift, and taking care of my partner, and it was such an amazing time for me to bond with my daughter. And even though I was still working remotely from Japan, being physically away from my work for such a long period of time made me realize how much lighter I felt. I mean, I can't remember the last time I had such good sleep in the last decade. There's definitely some type of stress that kind of keeps me wound up a bit when I'm at home. And, this has made me really realize and kind of take a step back and zoom out and think, like, what do I want going forward here? And, how do I achieve that? I don't have everything figured out, but I do know that I don't want to miss my daughter's life just because I was too busy or too stressed or too unhealthy to be fully present. I want to be more intentional about my years ahead. Um, so this channel is really just me thinking through that shift, figuring out in real time, and maybe keeping myself accountable along the way. And maybe one day, something for my daughter to look back on to help her better understand who her dad was during this phase of his life. If you're in a similar stage, becoming a dad later in life, or just starting to feel the clock a little bit differently, I'd love for you to follow along. So, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.